Hello, everybody. Jess Lohse, another weekly update for SBCA Structural Building Components Association. It is October 16th, 2025, and I got three things I want to tell you. First one is the Napa OQM. Register right now. Stop what you're doing. Pause this. Go register. We got the couple deadlines coming up. First, we are implementing a fee for late registration. And really, that's just for our planning purposes. It's $30. It goes into effect next Friday. So what would that be? The 24th, I believe it is. So get registered prior to that. And it really what happens is planning purposes, the head counts, the other things that we need to have in, it helps us with that. And we're trying to incentivize early registration. So save that $30 and, register today because it'll help us out, our planning. All of that, there's a lot that goes into it. And when you register late, it turns things up. And then the other thing, if you register, make sure you're going to attend. And that's just one of those, we always have people, and it seems to be the same people that will register but not attend. And that's where we get out of whack with our counts. And really the food and beverage aspect of it is where it comes into account. And the breakfast, the lunches that we budget for, they're not cheap. So we try to get those as accurate as possible. So encourage you to register for Napa OQM. It's going to be great. I'm looking forward to being in that area. There's going to be some wine tasting. There's going to be a great dinner. The networking, it's going to be hopefully fairly casual and feel. We'll obviously be still attacking the hard-hitting issues that face our industry, but it'll be one of those to where I think the networking is going to be a lot of opportunities there. So make sure you register for that. Again, that deadline for the fee is the 24th. The room rate deadline, that's going to be November 10th. So make sure you get in before that November 10th for sure. But looking forward to having the OQM in Napa and going to California. All our California people that say, oh, why don't you ever do anything on the West Coast? Well, here's your opportunity. Let's show up in December in Napa for that OQM. Beyond that, number two, component craft. Now, this is one where we're going to continue to try to explain this concept and what it is, just to make sure that we're getting through. It's not meant for component manufacturers. It's meant to help component manufacturers by really going through and improving the process and creating an engagement and also an educational event for those that impact the component industry. So think of your architects, your engineers, your residential designers, maybe the code officials, maybe some builders, those that surround us in the construction supply chain that need to know more about components and how to utilize them. And that's where, one of the things that's always the most popular is like, what are floor trusses? What are roof trusses? How to read a truss design drawing? What are TPI1? How do we utilize BCSI? Those are the things that, while probably feels low level to component manufacturers, we are not out there articulating what it is to those folks that are surround us in the construction industry. And really 2 points that we want to make here, the goals with it is one, that the plans that get drawn by those people and the interactions, they are better favorable towards components that, whether the perimeter is closed or that the heel heights are called out, the overhangs, all the information that the technicians and designers need to properly design trusses, we want to improve that. So that's one, and create that feedback loop to where, how can we help you? What can you do to help us? And that's really, you don't get there unless you have that conversation. The engagement aspect of it, that's where we want to let them know that SBCA is a place for them to come for information regarding components. It's not just a one-day event where they're going to learn everything, but it's really an introduction to SBCA, our knowledge center, and all the different things that we have. We've got a wealth of information, but it's how do we communicate that? And this is our way to be able to do that. So really looking forward to that component craft. First one's going to be in Austin. We're looking at going to Nashville and Boston, as well as one more location, probably in the Southwest, maybe Las Vegas, Phoenix, maybe it's Salt Lake City. Next fall, probably Q3, Q4, depending on how a couple things go there. So really looking forward to that and getting that going. What we need from component manufacturers is you to send the people that need to be there. You're going to know the ones that are drawing the plans and that might have that interest to engage. So go to sbcacomponentcraft.com. There's an attend link. You can sign them up that way and they can get the information. You can encourage them to go do that, but really spread the word as we want to build this industry out. And we're in a bit of a down market in certain areas. This is an opportunity where we want to have a greater share of the market. Even in a down market, you can grow market share. So that's what we want to do, to where we're building more trusses by others, which is us really being able to, bolster that use of components over stick framing. Stick framing still happens, or stick happens. Don't worry, I did not say a bad word there, but kind of going off of that saying from the 80s, we want stick to happen less. We want more components, and that's what we're going for with that. And number three, really want to close it out with just congratulating all the honorees at the SBCA Honors Dinner. really, some lifetime achievement type stuff. It was really cool. Marty Hauge with the Dick Bowman Award, and, learning about him and just seeing all the people at Alpine and all the component manufacturers that were just ecstatic for him to have that. Really knows that we hit the mark with that one. SBCA leadership went to a framer, Chris Tachi, good friend, and he's doing so much for this industry, really getting the word out, from the framer perspective, and he builds that through. And that's really where could articulate wins when the component manufacturer and the framer are on the same side of the equation and they're going to the market together. Really, hits home there. Dwight Heichel Humanitarian Award, Greg Griggs. I mean, gosh, you guys are a giant in the industry, and it's been fun to work with him and to know him and to be able to talk with him for so long. The Norm McKenna Chapter Service Award, Rick Perino, again, unanimous in the nominations, not even a vote unanimously. It was in the nominations. He was nominated, I think, 3 or 4 times. It's one of those, nobody else was nominated. So obviously we hit the mark there. And then the SBCA Hall of Fame, Jerry Koskovich, again, linear saws, all the different things, the component saws. What he did out of, Minnesota was just amazing to learn about and to read about. Unfortunately, he wasn't there, but we will be getting him his plaque. And then a couple recognitions here, departing board members, Rick Perino, Scott Ward, those are my OGs of sorts. Rick was president immediately before me, and then Scott was president 2 years before me for 2 years. So it's one of those that really learned a lot from them, and seeing them graduate from the board and the other things that they're going to be doing. I don't think they're going to go too far, but really congratulations on, I think it was 21 and 25 years of service between the, I think Rick was 25 and Scott was 21. But with that, I've gone long as usual, but till then, next week when we talk again, peaks up, press on, and we'll talk to you all a little bit later. Goodbye. As I try to find the end button here, my son is home from school, so a little extra hours. Say hi, Judge.
Hi.